Hey, we're back in our love language or love style series, and we're talking about words of affirmation in the OG world, or appreciation in the new love style world.
We find that most of our clients fall into one of three categories when it comes to like needing appreciation from their partner in order to feel close and connected. So the first category is you know that you need to be appreciated, and you know that words of affirmation are super important to you, and you have no troubles expressing that. Being
You
like,
own it.
Yeah. I need you to tell me that I'm important, that I'm amazing, that I'm beautiful, that I do good shit, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. The second category is that you need to be appreciated, but you're a denier of that. So you need to be appreciated, but you're like kind of in denial. Like you think that people that need to be appreciated are annoying, or like that's like not cool.
Yeah.
And so
you can't admit it to yourself.
Yeah. So you just can't admit it.
Yes. We do see a lot of people like that.
Yeah. They think that those words of affirmation aren't important, but then when they hear them or get that or receive it from their partner, they just like, they feel so good, they stand taller, they feel more closer and connected, but the disconnect is that they haven't been able to like really realize like how important it is for them.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's the third category?
The third category is like you don't want to be appreciated, at least not through words, for sure. Mm-hmm. Like you are the person that does the laundry in the relationship, and the last thing you want is your partner to be like, hey honey, thanks for doing the laundry. Ew, no, that's awkward. Don't thank me for doing that. There's a lot of people like that too.
Yeah, that they find it uncomfortable or like just not necessary. It's like, I'm doing those things for you because I love you, or because I live with you, because I appreciate you, and I don't need those words in return.
Yeah, it makes me feel icky.
Yeah, I think that's like few and far between, but there are, for sure, we've dealt with people that are like, please don't be constantly thanking me. It's awkward.
Yeah. And so the important part here is just knowing what you are and what your partner is, right? And then kind of honoring that. But like you said, that third category, kind of few and far between, I would say for the most part in our practice, people are craving appreciation.
Yeah, remember that workshop that we did where we asked, we asked a whole group, it was women, it was a whole group of women, and we had this like huge chart of all the things that they wanted, more of in their relationship, and appreciation was at the top of them.
Yeah.
The top of that list. So it is something that a lot of people are wanting and wishing and hoping for in their relationship. And often people don't really know like how, what are we even talking about when we're talking about words of affirmation? So let's give some examples.
Well, it can be as simple as, like we just said, like a thank you for something they've done, but it can also be like telling your partner what you admire about them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what you appreciate about them, about their characteristics, their qualities. Even physical stuff, right?
Compliments,
complimenting, their choice of wardrobe, their style, or specific parts of their body. Mm-hmm. Like, I know, it was interesting, like, I actually was just having this conversation with my boyfriend the other day, and he said, I always feel good when I wear this shirt because one time you said that you really liked it on me. So something like that can be like a small thing that I did in the moment, but that he remembered, and then he feels good, in it. Right? So it can be those little things that can be really important and can lift that other partner up and make them feel good.
I think where people fall into trouble with the appreciation or words of affirmation is that they start to just like say it on like rote, like it's just like they come around the corner, oh, you look great today. And it's like something that's just such a habit versus really feeling meaningful in the moment. Mm-hmm. Basically, they just aren't creative.
Yeah, or they're only saying it in words and have forgotten that there's so many other ways that you can use this love language, right? So you can text your partner sweet things. You can write them little love notes. Mm-hmm. You can write them a card. You can do a Post-it note on their pillow in the morning. Like there's so many different ways to be creative and do this. And it's funny, a story's coming up for me. So like my mom loves to be appreciated, and my dad, it's like not something that he says or ever does for her. with one exception. And so you can always see her when we're out at dinner parties, she's always listening for it. So he will appreciate her to other people. So he talks so nicely about my mom and like brags about how amazing she is. But often that's how she hears it, is she overhears him saying it to his friends or family members. So he's not one to like deliver it to her, but he does have a beautiful way of speaking about her. Hopefully she's an earshot when that happens, but not always, right?
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. And now we're talking about the practical one, acts of service.
Yes. So what is this love language? It can be as simple as just like taking something off of your partner's to-do list, or like chipping in on like the things to do around the house, doing the dishes, like
getting the fresh sheets on the bed. It can be washing your partner's car for them. Picking up their favorite donuts on your way home from work, right? Like little things like that, right? Can be doing something nice for them, but also it can be really, I liked what you said, like taking something off of their to-do list, which creates less stress for them, and if this is your love language, makes you feel more closer and connected to your partner because they did something for you. Yeah.
I think this one I have trouble with because I think we need to up level this one. Like so often people are like, oh yeah, I made my partner dinner the other night and that was an act of service and that's their love language. They were so excited. Great. But you know what we see a lot? Or what I see is like people will make dinner, but only because their partner said like, this is what we're having for dinner tonight. I've gone and got the groceries and put them in the fridge. And if you could please make that. And then they make it and then they leave the dishes and like, no, that's not an act of service. That's like
a part of it.
Yeah.
I think what you're talking about is that you're completing an entire task, like beginning, middle, and end.
Yes.
So if we're using the meal example, it has to be that you planned it, that you shopped for it, that you prepped it, that you cooked it, that you served it, that you set the table, that you lit a candle.
Do the whole thing. Yeah. Do the whole thing. That is, to me, a real act of service. So, like, okay, let's give another example. Maybe it's not a meal thing, but like, if you're going to take something off of your partner's to-do list, whether it's something they have on their to-do list, or maybe it's like this thing they didn't even know they needed, right?
Yeah.
But take the whole thing. Don't ask them a single question.
Yes. I love that.
Yeah.
Do the whole thing. Plan the whole thing.
Yeah.
Organize the whole thing. Yeah. That's good.
What do you think about so I said they're doing something on their to-do list or like taking something that they don't even know they need? Do you agree with that? Some people wouldn't agree with that.
No, I absolutely do. I feel so overwhelmed by lists that when my partner, comes in and like, I don't know, does the simplest but most important thing that I hadn't thought of. Like there were like weeds growing up underneath the trampoline, and one day he just like came home and like bought the stuff to stop that from happening. And I was like, it was like a stress had been like released that I didn't even know I was carrying, because it was like so annoying to have to try and mow under there, or weed whacker, like I'm like buying 14 bottles of like the stuff that's bad for the environment to get rid of the weeds. So it was like something like that, like total act of service, like didn't ask him to do it, total surprise.
Didn't even know you really needed that black
the tarpy stuff that stopped. So that's like a great example of something that like I didn't even know it was on my to-do list, but it really made me feel super loved.
Yeah. You know what? He is so great at acts of service. Yes. I feel like I should take him home for acts of service. He also, like, didn't he just come over and fix your dryer the other day?
Twice, but it's still not working.
Oh!
It's still squealing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's screeching. But that was really kind, for sure. We did the first one together, and then I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna, you got this.
You got it. So one really important thing we wanted to talk about when we talk about acts of service is that for some people, when it is their love language, when it is how they feel loved, if their partner does like unload the dishwasher or, pick up after them, they like really feel it. They're like, oh my God, like, just take me now. Let's head to the bedroom. Like, they feel
it's a super
so
turn
loved.
on for them, right?
Yes.
Which is such a disconnect for me, because for me, I know we talked about like how I do love this love language. But for me, for most stuff around the house, it's just kind of like, okay, well, like that's what you do when you live together.
Yes.
Right? But for other people, like you're talking about, like when they see their partner doing things around the house, it's like an instant connection and turn on for them.
It fills their tank. They feel loved. Yeah. But if it isn't, like you and like myself, if it isn't how you feel loved, then often it can be a source of resentment in some relationships, because one of the partners can be like, well, I do all these things. Like I do this, I unload the dishwasher, I make dinner, I do the driving, like I do all these things. So how do you not feel loved? Well, if that's not your love language, then those things are probably appreciated. And like you said, they're a part of maybe living together and in the same home. But they're not filling the love tank.
Yeah. I think the point of this is it can create like a big disconnect in relationships. And it's important to know that you're giving the person the love that they want to receive.